welcome to this second edition of GN Live. I am Gilbert Nyambavum. In this episode, I speak to the University of Zimbabwe Vice Chancellor Prof Mapfumo. I met Professor Mapfumo in the UK recently in Birmingham, where he was attending the UK Zimbabwe Business Expo. My discussion with him is based on his presentation to the investment endeavor, which was part of that expo. I thought he raised some really important and fundamental issues that needed to be brought to the attention of the wider Zimbabwean audience. But I also had a chat with Professor Mapfumo on a number of issues, such as the relevance of education in Zimbabwe, where role models are social media characters, and people like Wikno Chivayo, who are known for other things that are not his education. We also talked about the importance of the humanities, your literature, your history, and your geography, in a world that is now dominated and focused on STEM and artificial intelligence. And of course, we also discussed the issue of the disruption of learning at the University of Zimbabwe. Join me after this break. Now by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Zimbabwe, Professor Mapfumo, just to pick up on some of the, I think, really fundamental issues you raised in your address, in your presentation to the meeting. The first point you said, which I thought was very important for me, and I think we need to elaborate on that. You said the University of Zimbabwe of today is not the University of Zimbabwe of the past. In other words, the kind of graduates you're now producing are different from what we used to get before. Can you please explain what you mean by that?
Thank you very much for that question. I think the first thing I want to say is the government of Zimbabwe introduced a new education system based on the new architecture we call the heritage-based education 5.0.
Yes.
What this the education tries to do, it tries to meet the aspirations and the needs of our people in contextually.
Yes.
And so this is a total change of the DNA of our education, uprooting the colonial architecture of the education, which is produced, fair to say, we ourselves in many ways. But we fall short.
Are we inadequate?
Yes, we are. And this is the reason why people continue to complain about the products.
It's no longer relevant to where we are as a country and as people now. Right.
It's the architecture. It's not about the people. It's not that we are not producing them good. We are producing them good according to that template. But now the template no longer fits. So the new education tries now to address that fundamentally. So this new education philosophy, it tries to say, what should a university graduate? It should graduate goods and services in the end. That should be the ultimate. So that we partake in the economic development of the country and also of the globe. We should be able to produce goods and make business, create wealth, right? They go towards prosperity as a nation. So that education needs to be fundamentally put right. So now what we produce now is our graduates who are critical thinkers. They are able to have the skills and competencies to industrialize, to create new technologies, to create new innovations, and be entrepreneurial. These are the graduates we need to produce. Apart from that, we also want the university to produce companies, new regime of companies, new businesses, and produce startups, produce technologies, produce innovations. And so the orientation of the university is such that we have started completely new programs. We have introduced completely new teaching approaches and targeted new outputs or results from our education system. That's what now forms the new DNA of our education system.
Professor, you are talking innovation, industrialization, focus shifting to a dispensation mainly of STEM.
Yes.
Are you saying now that there is no place or relevance for the historian, for the person who does geography, for the humanities generally?
Right.
Or rather, where is the place for the humanities in this new dispensation?
It's a good question. And I have heard that question. Sometimes people being even emotional about it. Right?
Yes.
Yet we are not saying that. We are saying the humanities lead.
Okay.
Because they tell us where the nation wants to go.
Okay.
The aspirations of the people are in the humanities. The needs of a people are in the humanities. What we are simply saying is that they can lead us in terms of the vision, they can lead us in terms of where we want to go in the future, but as a people, and situate us in our heritage, situate us, if you want to study history of what makes us who we are. That gives us dignity, that gives us pride as a Zimbabwean nation. Let's hear the history of how technology and science evolved in our own spaces, how our humanity evolved in our own spaces, not a foreign or external narrative of who we are.
In other words, even as we innovate and industrialize, we should still remain ourselves as a unique people.
And innovation is not a preserve of the science and technology and innovation. Actually, innovation is in the economic sense. Wealth creation is at the center of innovation. So we are saying let's drive our nation to prosperity according to our National Vision 2030. So what we try then to do is to tell our humanities counterparts that science and technology just creates possibilities. It's the how part of getting where you want to get. This is why you need the science.
But the humanities define where you want to go. And then science facilitates.
Exactly. If the people in the humanities view science as silos, this is what we are breaking down in the new education. It's that silo mentality that says, I am from this subject, I am from the other subject. Subjects are a continuum. There is no single subject that stands alone in the evolution of mankind. We only compartmentalize this learning for our better understanding of specific details. But we are the poorer for that approach. Science is an art. So a person can have a faculty of mathematics and arts. But we are just used to saying the mathematics combined with the engineering. Right? But
they can complement each other.
Be in art.
In art, And then, Professor, you also raised what I thought was also an important point. We are at an investment conference. And you suggested that there's a role to play in terms of facilitating investment in Zimbabwe. Through our universities, through the University of Zimbabwe and through other universities in the country. How do you envision this role, and how can universities be relevant in terms of facilitating investment in Zimbabwe?
Universities are the anchors of the advancement of knowledge. All the knowledge you can use, the data you can use, the innovations you can use to make a competitive business or a competitive commercial sector comes from the kind of cutting edge knowledge, technology and innovations that you get from the universities. So we want to situate the universities as the powerhouse for doing business. So we are saying the young people we are training are establishing new companies. Supported by our government with the new philosophy. And saying they are new directors of companies. So why don't we create that new marketplace for new businesses where the senior business people come and partner them? This is where you can, the JVs we want to talk about, you can get them in the University Innovation Hub. And the ideas of broadening the scope of making Zimbabwe a competitive business investment destination, we can get them from universities.
Okay.
Then if we're talking about partnerships, if we're talking about collaboration, this is what will bring our youth, our women, our rural into the core of our industrialization agenda or our entrepreneurial agenda.
We are coming to you live from Birmingham, where we are attending the UK Zimbabwe Business Expo 2025. Professor, I want to again focus on that issue of investment. One of the things you said was, if you are a diasporan and you're thinking about going to invest in Zimbabwe, people are asking about where the opportunities are. You said these opportunities are there at the innovation hubs in our universities. Can you please expand on that?
Sure. The university represents the different sectors of our economy. The University of Zimbabwe has become what we call a comprehensive research and innovation institution.
Okay.
So what it means is, if you want advancement in health, you will get it there.
Okay.
Advancement in agriculture, you get it there.
Okay.
In mining, in tourism, in manufacturing. Those are our major sectors of the economy. So what we are saying is, it should start with the good connection with the university. If the university responds to that, it is a relevant university. So if you are looking for data, the evidence
about any sector you want to get into,
about the sector you want to get into, the first port of call should be the university.
Okay.
To say, I want to invest. What is the status in terms of statistics? It's not a thumbsuck issue. It's not things based on just emotions to just say, I have a feeling that I want to get into mining. I don't think so.
You want data.
You want data. And you want to really have the metrics. You calculate, you have the feasibility studies. University can do that for you. For you.
So all of those people who are concerned about security, if they want proper due diligence to be done on their behalf before they go into any sector, they can come to the UZ.
Precisely. The biggest form of insurance is actually the data and the evidence.
Okay.
And if we have insurance companies that try to reduce the risk, right, and ensure that there is success of returns to investment, they have to use that data. And they can only do that if they are working with the universities. In previous years, it would be done here in the UK with the universities here. They will calculate, because the people who were going there were British companies. Americans will use their universities to explore using American universities. But now these are Zimbabweans wanting to do business in Zimbabwe. Which universities should they use? Zimbabwean universities. And the Zimbabwean universities should transform themselves to focus on providing that environment where they provide data that gives an insurance to
potential
people who want to
do
invest.
Business in Zimbabwe.
Even external people, foreign direct investment, they should partner Zimbabweans. Whether they partner Zimbabweans from outside or from inside, it's neither here nor there. They are Zimbabweans. They should, but it should be based on data and evidence. And that will help our policymakers. When we say create a conducive environment, the conducive environment should be informed by data. Right? So we think that we make better policies together with our government.
And you are saying that credible data comes from our universities. It doesn't come from me asking my relative who is in Zimbabwe now. That's where
that's where we are getting lost. Right? If you try to do that, you cannot be better than a person coming from another country elsewhere who depend on solid data from their own institutions. They will beat you to it.
Indeed.
Right? We don't take away anything from our Tete, Mzukuru, and so on, who gives us.
But complement that with more rigorous data, properly researched. Professor, we are having a very fascinating conversation here. And one of the regrets for me is that you don't get these kinds of conversations on social media. My view is that the importance and relevance of education is today not what it was in the past.
Yes.
In the past, you would have, when A-level results are out, news bulletins would lead by who has done best. Today, it's not like that. The people we celebrate are not people who are doing well at school. We are celebrating people who are doing whatever they're doing in social media.
Yeah.
So much that people ask themselves whether it's relevant to go to school anymore. How do you think we should deal with that crisis?
I think I don't call it a crisis per se.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity for business.
Okay. How?
The future. Social media, the friends now is about just it being possible to communicate that fast.
Yeah.
But communicate the lies, fabrications,
what are we communicating?
and so
Yes,
on.
yeah.
What we are the content is so adulterated, distorted, and so on. It can actually bring us down.
Exactly, yeah.
As people or nations. But you know what will happen? Eventually, if the research works well,
Okay.
if the universities work well,
Yeah.
we will be able to tame the social media jungle through new types of
Content.
and new types of innovation.
Innovation.
Mark my words, the future of the ICT area will be made by insurance companies for data, the sources of accredited databases, and maybe accredited sources of information,
yeah.
even on social
Even
media.
social media.
And some people will make money out of it.
Professor, I have two final questions. One of the approaches of government is to leave no place and no people behind in terms of our development.
Sure.
And I think this applies to universities as well.
Yes.
Diasporans are Zimbabweans.
Yes.
They should also not be left behind.
Yes.
They should be included in everything we are doing. But there are many people in the diaspora who want to study through the UZ. There isn't an online possibility for that to happen, is there? And what are we doing to address that?
But the university responds to this demand. And this is something that we want to build into our upcoming strategic plan.
Okay.
Because we're now in touch.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that has happened that's good is this dialogue.
Okay.
I have called it convergence of progress.
Okay.
If we are now uniting for a common purpose of knowing our center of origin and wanting to advance Zimbabwe's interests, it means that as Vice Chancellor of a university, I would want to see two streams.
Okay.
The first stream is that the part of the investment should be in internationalizing the university.
Yes.
When people in the diaspora can send their children to universities back home.
Back home, yes.
Because
they are learning in the cultural environment. Yes.
Cultural environment, they are powered by their own heritage.
Exactly.
They can still come back here in other countries and work.
Yes.
But they will be much more polished
Yes.
and nurtured and cultured.
Yes, yes,
and
indeed.
we need that as a nation.
Indeed.
If we have people that are working as expatriates and so on, they are likely to send their children back to their home countries to get to back grounded before they can really learn elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
If they learn in international school, they will learn a culture of their home country.
Yes.
And this is the same that should happen.
Yeah.
So that is one stream.
Okay.
The other stream is when we offer those online services and so on, we want to be able to respond to demands of the diaspora people on how they want to learn and what they want to learn. And the university will be available to do the necessary curriculum changes or strengthening, or sometimes it's not the subject matter, it's the approach to teaching and learning.
Okay.
Offer them online facilities, offer them access to our programs. And we are prepared to do that. And I'm happy that we are now beginning to engage because of this internationalization thrust that the university is taking.
Oh, brilliant. Professor, finally, people will not think this is a serious interview if we do not discuss the elephant in the room.
Yes.
There has been disruptions of learning at the UZ, our highest institution of learning.
Yes.
Where are we in terms of resolving that particular challenge?
But the disruptions have been very fundamental. There's no arguing that our levels of remuneration are low.
Okay.
But they didn't start getting low now.
Okay, yeah.
They've always been low.
Yeah.
Some of the diasporans here have come because those conditions have always
been like that.
Poor.
Poor.
Right? It's a problem of Africa. It's not a problem of Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And it's a problem of the architecture.
Okay.
That's how I interpret it.
Okay.
People may not see because they're inside the bubble. But I think it's a bigger problem. It's an architectural problem. So what we're saying with the new education philosophy is that we have to grow our own cake.
Okay.
And government has certain policies to allow that to happen.
Okay.
So we need to be patient to grow our own cake and remunerate ourselves as we make new companies that make money, as we make new products that can also be on the market and make money.
Okay.
If we are expecting that government will satisfy our salaries needs, it won't be able to do that because it's not the only sector. And before we increase productivity, it's going to be futile, because it's not a long-term solution. We may get the money today to just give people for a few months, but I think we have to, everyone have to put their hands on the deck so that we create our new income sources as a university. This is what I see as long-term.
Long-term.
I don't take away the fact that government can still make interventions
now,
which they are working on.
Okay.
And I think this has been then the discourse that's going.
Okay.
So I see this as a work in progress.
Yeah. So in other words, Professor, you're saying even if you get an intervention which addresses the problem now, chances are that unless we deal with this holistically and in a long-term view, 5-6 months down the line, the same problem might arise.
Because we're dealing with symptoms.
Exactly.
The reason why we're changing the education philosophy, the reason why we're transforming is to say the university should be able to partake in wealth creation.
Yeah.
That's what the university should have an endowment. It should generate income, money. And to do that, the university should be relevant on the market. If we do that, and the kind of human capital we employ at the university should be able to be very competitive and marketable in terms of what they do.
What they do, oh yeah, okay.
Right? So it's a transition period. It's going to be as hard as any transformation that happens.
Okay.
Change is very expensive and very painful.
Okay.
But we have to go through this transition for us to get to where others are. If we ask them, they also went through very difficult times.
Indeed.
So I see this as the more important part is we know where we want to get to.
Yeah.
So I really feel and empathize with people, including myself. You know, sometimes people think the Vice Chancellor doesn't give salaries. He also receives
salary.
salaries.
Yeah.
But I understand that I have a responsibility to lead and say, when will this end? And this is where we come in. It requires people to have unit of purpose and understand that above all, we still have to have our students learn. They come from poor backgrounds,
but still, they still need to learn.
They still have to learn.
Professor, thank you very much. It's been a very illuminating discussion, and I hope that we'll get to resolve the immediate issue of the disruption to learning very soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
And for information, our universities now calm, back to normal.
Normal, okay.
And the problems, we are seized with them, and we acknowledge that there is still a lot of work
that needs to be done.
But that doesn't take away people's understanding and convergence. It doesn't mean that we have the solution immediately, but it means that we have a convergence of minds,
of thinking around how we deal with these things.
How we have to all partake into doing that. So I would want to thank everybody who has contributed to that growing understanding. It could be one or two people who are still injured, but
they will get
I think by and large, I think there's a common understanding.
Professor, thank you once again for joining us, and please enjoy the expo.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.